Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be building a arithmetic calculator inside vanilla JavaScript, something like this. So we will be using CSS for building this interface, CSS grid like structure. You can see that on your screen. So there will be this numeric buttons here. Basically on every calculator you see these buttons, and we will perform these four operations. Either we can add numbers, we can subtract the numbers, we can multiply, and we can divide. And then after that we will have a equal sign here. Basically whenever we click this equal sign, then basically the result will be shown inside this input field, which is seen right here at the very top. So we will try to replicate this, guys, build a very simple arithmetic calculator using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So let's start building this from scratch. So first of all, guys, I will just create a file which is called as calculator.html. So here we will be creating the basic interface for this calculator. So here you just need to change the title, which is called as arithmetic calculator in JavaScript. And after that, guys, we will start building this. So here you will have a div which will have a parent class, and inside this, guys, we will have a input field, simple input field here, which will be of type number. And basically this input field will be by default, it will be only read only. You can't change the value, you only can read the value from this input field. So we will attach this read only attribute. And if you now open this here, basically you will now see there will be an input field. You can't edit the value here, you can even just read it, the result. If I put a value here, let's suppose 23, you can see only if I refresh it, 23 will be written here. You can't edit this value, you can't change it. So that's exactly what we want here. So after this, guys, we will have a series of buttons out there. Basically here we will be having a container class, and after that, guys, we will have a series of buttons here. Basically for our calculator we will need to have these buttons out there, which is 1, 2. So if you see, all these buttons will be there, which is 1, 2, you can now see. So similarly we need to have more buttons out there. This is 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9. After that we have the 0 button here, and then we will have 4 operators, which will be either, first of all, for adding the numbers, which is plus here. Then we will have the minus operator for subtracting the numbers. Then we will have the multiply operator to multiply, and lastly for dividing it. So these are the 4 operations. And lastly we will also have a equal to sign here, basically to calculate the result. So if you now look inside your design, guys, you will exactly see we will have these buttons out there. So now we need to use some CSS, guys. In order to look something like this, we need to have these designs here. So first of all, you just need to include a CSS file here, which will be called as style.css. So inside the root directory, just make this file style.css. And here, guys, first of all we will target this container class that is given here. If you see, we have given all these buttons a parent class, which is container. So now we need to change its display type to grid. we will use the grid layout. So here we will target the container class, and then we will change the display property to grid. So if you change it to grid, guys, basically now all these buttons will be shown one after the other. So please hit the like button, guys, subscribe to the channel as well. So you can see all these buttons will be shown one after the other. Now we need to simply say grid template columns, and here we will simply say grid template columns. So basically it will, you can see nothing will change, but now we need to display only 3 buttons per row. So here we will say 100 pixel. Each column will have a width of 100 pixels. So now if you see, 3 buttons will be shown here, each having a width of 100 pixel, 100 pixel, 100 pixel. So if I need to change the middle button to 200 pixels, so now you will see the design will change. So this middle button will have a larger width out there. So for our case, we want all the 3 buttons to have equal sizes, so that's why we have provided 100 pixel, 100 pixel, 100 pixel. You can see that. So after this, guys, we need to move this in the center of the screen. For doing this, we will target this here also, guys. We also need to attach this input field a ID which is called as result, so that we can target this inside the style.css. So first of all, we will make sure that this appears in the center of the screen, because it is not appearing in the center. So for that, we will target this parent class that we have assigned here. You can see this is a parent class, so we will target this parent class, and first of all we will change the display property to flex. So if you change it to display to flex, guys, it will look something like this. You can now see. So here we will be using flex direction, and here we will be using the column layout. If you use the column layout, guys, it will look something like this. Now we need to say justify content to center. Justify content center will align this, and also item center. Items, align items to also center. So what it will do, guys, it will place this in the center of the screen, all these buttons, and now we need to simply increase the width of this input field so that it matches it. So what we can do is that basically we can target it by the ID we have given. You can see we have given this ID result. So here we can target it by the ID that we have given, result. So here we can change the width to 59%. So if you change it to this, guys, now it perfectly matches it. You will now see our interface is almost complete. So please hit the like button, subscribe the channel. So now what we need to do, guys, if I hit these buttons here, I need to simply make the calculator. So what we can do is that, so here we will write the JavaScript. So basically we will say script source. We will attach the JavaScript part here, script.js. So inside our script.js file, just make it. So first of all, guys, you can see we need to attach a event listener to all these buttons out there, basically all these buttons. So what we can do is that basically inside script.js we can use a for loop to attaching the events. So here we can simply first of all get all the buttons references. So here we can say buttons. So here we will use document.query selector, and here we will pass the button tag, or we can simply say we can attach each class to it, or button. So this class will be present to each button. So button, button, button. So we will be attaching this, guys, which is like this. You can just attach this to each button out there. Class button. So attach this to each of the button out there so that it makes it easier to fetch all these buttons here. So if you have any sort of questions, guys, you can ask in the comment section. Please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. How can we use data attribute in query selector? Data attribute, you just need to attach this any custom data attribute you can define here. Let's suppose data dot x is equal to, and then you can access it inside the script.js, basically provide it inside square brackets data.x like this. So we will remove this from here basically. So you can see that, guys, each button is having this class which is button. So now we can simply say for classes we have dot symbol, for IDs we have this hash symbol. So in this case we have given the class button. So after this, if you console log buttons, so what will happen now, guys, if you see, if I refresh it, basically if I say inspect element and go to console, you will see only the first button will be returned to us. So for this, guys, what we need to say is that there is a query selector all. This is a method that we need to use. So if you now refresh it, you will now see 15 buttons will be returned to us in an array like structure. So this is an array here. So now we need to loop through this array. So here now we will be using basically you can use a for loop, or you can even use a for each loop as well. So we can use the for each loop here. For each button we will be attaching an event listener to it. So we will be attaching an on click. So whenever you click on that individual button, basically we will say alert, you have clicked the button. So if you do like this, guys, if you click any of the button here, you will see this alert message, you have clicked the button, you have clicked the button. So now we need to detect, guys, which button was clicked. So let's suppose I click this button, so 7 should be printed out because we have clicked the 7 button. So how to detect it? This is a big question. So how to detect which button is clicked? Basically there is a property which is called as this property, which is the label of this button. So how to get this? So basically here we can simply say how to get label text of button when clicked in JavaScript. So you can anytime go to this so if you see, guys, basically we can get the value here of the button which was clicked. How to get label of so this is the button, guys, basically. That was a question you asked, Ashmeet, that how to attach a custom attribute. So in this case the custom attribute will be very much important. So in this case, if you see event.current, so here we need to attach the custom attribute here to each of the buttons out there, which will be very much important. So in this case, you can say data ID. So just attach these custom attributes, guys. So we will attach like this, basically custom attributes. So if you're watching it for the very first time, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel. So for each of the buttons, we will attach this custom data attributes like this. Custom data attributes. So now we just need to change the values, guys, here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, plus, minus, this one, it is divided by and equal to. So in this case, guys, we have given these custom attributes. So now it becomes very much easy inside this callback function. Basically here we can simply get the value of this custom data attribute. Something like this if I show you. So here we can simply say which button was clicked. So we can get the value of that custom data attribute. So we can simply say you have clicked so you will paste it. Basically this is the one. Here we need to pass the event object e.currentTarget.getAttribute, which we have defined here. Basically data.id. If you see here data.id, it will fetch the value. If you click the fourth button, it will fetch this value, which is 4 defined here. You can change this value, but we will set it to 4. So now if you click the button, guys, basically in the alert box it will clearly show which button was clicked. If you click 2, you have clicked button, you have clicked the button plus, like this. So now, guys, what we need to do is that basically the default value will be 0 here. So the result will be shown here 0. So now what we need to do is that as I click these buttons here, basically we need to insert the value here, write this value here. So right here what we need to do is that basically remove this alert statement. So here we will have a series of if conditions here. So basically we will have a if condition. For each button we will have this if condition. So if you see, guys, basically we will compare this value event.currentTarget.getAttribute. So we will have this if condition, guys. So if this value is equal to 1, in that case we can simply say that we will push this value. So basically we need to get the reference to the input field. So we will say document.query selector, and here we have given the ID which is called as input. If you see, we have given this ID which is result, we have given result. So here you need to replace your result. So after this, guys, we will simply say this is result. We need to embed this, push this entry. So result dot, we need to append this. So we will simply say append child, and this will be, we will be appending child here, which is event dot current target dot get attribute data dot id. So if you see guys, if I press this button here, one, just refresh it, nothing is changed here. You will now see nothing is changed. I think we need to remove this read only parameter. And if I refresh it guys, let me check what happens here. It is saying that failed to execute append child on node. Oh sorry, this needs to be, this is not a parent child relation, it's a number. So that's why we need to simply say result dot value, and here we will simply say plus is equal to event dot target, sorry, current target dot get attribute data id. So just refresh it, you can now see. And also guys, we need to basically remove the value which was present beforehand. If you reload the application, basically 0 is present right here, so we need to remove this value here which is of 0. First of all, make this as read only. So now we need to remove this value guys which is there. We can remove the value here like this, so 1. And similarly guys, we need to do for the rest of the buttons as well. We need the other conditions as well. So now if you see, if it is equal to 2 in that case also. So now we need to add all the conditions here. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, plus, minus, multiply, divided, equal to. So all these conditions we have defined guys, so just change it to here 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, plus, minus, and this is multiply, and then we have divide, and then we have is equal to. So now if you see guys, all these buttons will be like this. So it is saying that the specified value plus cannot be parsed or is out of range. So for this guys, we need to change this to text, not number, because text input field will be shown all this. Script.js, in the console that will say it cannot be passed or it is out of range. For this, guys, simply paste this the plus sign can't be appended to input field. So if you see, guys, sorry, we have changed it to so again this is number, so we need to change it to text. So if you now change it to text here, basically hopefully this time, so now you can see 2 plus 3 minus 2. So when I click this equal to button, guys, so the result will show. Now we need to show this result basically. So in place of equal to sign, that is when the case is equal to, we need to remove this and the value should be equal to calculate the result. So here, guys, you will be making this method which will actually calculate the result. So here, guys, you can see that we need to add the syntax which is available. So basically if you refresh your page, if I type here 1 plus 2 plus 3 and if I click the equal to sign, it should return 6 in place of this. So now what we can do is that basically inside this function, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel as well. I'm not doing job, I'm a full-time YouTuber and blogger, so I'm not doing job anywhere. So here, guys, inside calculate result, we will simply say input dot value, uh, basically what we will say, uh, input dot value if you see here, 1 plus 1. So what we need to do is that, guys, result dot value, we need to add these the operation which is available to us. So what logic we can apply here basically? So as you see here, there also needs to be a clear button, guys. So basically a reset button. So what we can do is that after this, a new button will be there, which will be, the button will be uh, clear out, clear the result. If you see, a new button will be there here, which is the clear button. Sorry, not here. The clear button. So basically we will be giving a style to it of width to 100% or 59%. So here we will be giving a ID to it of guys which is clear. So inside script.js, basically we will be attaching a event to it, document.get element by ID, which is clear. So when we add a event listener to it, so when we click this button, we need to remove all everything. So here we will say result dot value to nothing. So if I basically do this, so now you can see it is cleared out. So that's exactly what we wanted. So basically whenever you click this plus sign guys, basically if you see inside the application, if you see, if I say 4 plus 8, so here what we need to do is that uh, 4 plus if the plus sign is equal to, then we will be basically here we will be having a variable which is called as uh, calculated result, and basically the initial value of this will be 0. So now what we will say that if anybody hits the plus icon, plus button, so in this case we need to simply make this equal to calculated result will be equal to mm, it will be equal to the result dot value. So if you alert this calculated result now, if you click 1 plus, so inside this sorry, we have calculated result. So one will be there here. So 1 plus 1 plus, if I put the second one, and also guys we need to also declare a variable for the operation. This will be an empty value, and basically here we will simply say we will store the operation. So which operation is being performed? So operation we will say is plus. So it is calculated result will be result dot value. So same thing we need to do this. So whenever we click this equal sign, we will say if operation is equal to plus. In that case we will add the values, so we will simply say basically here we need to return calculated let me try out this code, guys. If you see, this is the calculator. 5 plus 3, 8. 3, 2 minus 3, 678 minus 4. So I think the concept is very much the same. We need to attach on click to each of the buttons out there. You can see that.